Harihi Om. Om Tat Sat. Welcome back. We began by looking at Shat Sampati and we saw Samadhana and then we saw Sama. Today we move on to Dhamma, which is the third kind of wealth of character, right? Dhamma, which means having a say over your own senses. That means controlling your senses, right? Remember, when I spoke to you about Bhagavad Gita, I told you what is the inner significance or symbolism of Krishna, a charioteer, holding the reins of the 5 horses. The 5 horses, I said, were your senses, and the reins from each of the horse that was being held by Krishna, that is called discrimination or viveka. And of course, Krishna holding it represents the buddhi or intelligence. And Arjuna, the one who's listening, the archer, is the mind, right? So only when the buddhi takes control of the senses, then that is a sign of you having control over your senses, or Dhamma, the third wealth of character. Now, many times, whether you travel long distance in a bus or you're catching a long haul flight, going for work or, for a holiday or whatever the case may be, most people, they take a book, or some people take their laptop to work. Some people just like to watch movies, right? Now, they want to sleep, some of them can, but, they also want to watch the movie at the same time. But then they see that the movies that are being screened are ones that they've already seen. So they think to themselves, I've already seen this. It's the same old rubbish, for example. So what is there to watch? Well, there's not many choices, is there? You're not exactly given a remote where you can, switch across, 50 to 60 movies. There's very, very limited choice. So the eyes will say, let's watch it again. Let's see, whatever. So the mind says, I've watched this, it's the same old rubbish, but the eyes is saying, let's watch it again. So you see, the eyes and the mind do not see. It's what we call eye to eye. Hence the expression, right? Don't see eye to eye. Because what the eyes see and perceive, what the mind perceives and decides are 2 different things. So the mind says, no, but the eye says, yes, I want to. Your eyes disobey, and then you end up watching that movie. Now, you can relate to this yourself, right? You just ask yourself, how many times have I watched the same movie or the same documentary or the same picture or whatever the case may be, time and again. So the important question then arises, right? How do we control our senses? Well, start by silencing the mind. So we come back to the mind. See, the important thread that weaves itself through the Shat Sampati, or the 6 virtues, or the wealth of character, the 6 wealth of character is, piercing the mind, all 6. Samadhana, I spoke about the mind. Sama, I spoke about the mind. Dhamma, I spoke about the mind. And the other 3 that is remaining, I will also speak the connection with the mind. So, start by silencing the mind. Silencing means what? Absence of noise. Noise into the mind means what? Unnecessary thoughts going into the mind. That is a noise, right? Noise which does not relate to you or has no impact or any significance on you. Cut that off. So somebody is going to tell you something about someone doing something to someone else somewhere. You don't need that information. Silence the mind. If you start cutting out all the irrelevant and unnecessary things, only what is relevant, necessary you put into your mind, you are already silencing your mind. And you will have a sense of control over your senses, right? As Swami says, master the mind and become the mastermind. And as the Rig Veda says, yad bhavam tat bhavati, yad mano tat manushyaha, right? As the mind, so the man. One of the great sayings is, God, if you think of, God you are. Dust, if you think of, dust you are. As you think, you become yat mano tat manushyaha, yat bhavam tat bhavati, right? To have Dhamma, therefore, means to have a perfect alignment between your mind and your senses. So Krishna holding the reins, exercising the right discrimination that will then control the senses, then the buddhi is fit to advise the mind. And the mind will yield to the instructions and dictation of that buddhi or intelligence. So develop a sense of control over your senses by exercising discrimination, using your intelligence and wisdom so that you can then tell the mind what to do or what not to do. You are very capable of doing that. I just think you do not know the know-how. So the know-how is exercising right sense of discrimination or viveka to enhance your wealth of Dhamma. Anyada sharanam nasti. Om Tat Sat.